The following program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Viewer discretion is advised.
My question is, will you accept the results of your election in November?
I'm going to win the election and I will accept that result.
If you lose, will you accept that?
I'm going to win the election and I will accept that result.
And I will totally accept the results of this great and historic presidential election if I win.
Are you ready? Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Nice to see everybody. So, nice day here today. Getting cooler outside as we approach winter. But the trees are really nice right now in Maine, turning their colors. Road work is almost done here out front. All they gotta do is lay the sidewalk down and it'll be finished. But it took them long enough to do just this little stretch of road here. And for a while there, it sounded like they were dynamiting the goddamn road here. Right, so it was scaring the hell out of the cat here. Lots of things here, I guess, to cover. Well, today, I guess, all right, this happened here yesterday at 9:44 p.m. This article here from Insider entitled, "Capitol Police say they arrested an armed 80-year-old man who told investigators he wanted to deliver documents to the Supreme Court." The Capitol Police arrested an armed 80-year-old Georgia man on Capitol. Why Georgia? Why not Georgia, right? Arrested him on Wednesday. He was illegally parked in a suspicious vehicle, which is what drew the police there. Two other individuals were also detained but not arrested, according to a USCP statement. The individuals said they were, quote, "here to deliver documents to the Supreme Court," unquote. Authorities temporarily closed the road surrounding the court and the Library of Congress around 3:45 p.m. to investigate the vehicle, which was a white van. Quote, the driver told us he had guns in the van. A K9 also hit on the vehicle. Capitol Police said in the statement. The authorities found 2 handguns and a shotgun inside of the vehicle. USCP said in a tweet that they charged the suspect, who was not publicly identified, on 3 counts, including possession of an unregistered firearm, unregistered ammunition, and carrying a pistol without a license. So, that's weird, huh? I doubt you'll hear anything more about that. And here's a story from the Daily Dot. A former CBS and Fox journalist goes full QAnon, says elites dine on blood of children. And you wouldn't believe who this is. It's former CBS and Fox News journalist Lara Logan unleashed a barrage of bizarre conspiracy theories this week involving everything from the blood of children to satanic control of the planet. During an interview on the conservative outlet Newsmax, Logan, who was let go from Fox News earlier this year for comparing Dr. Anthony Fauci to a murderous Nazi physician, argued that so-called open borders were the work of Satan while discussing immigration policy in the U.S. Quote, God believes in sovereignty and national identity and the sanctity of family and all the things that we've lived with from the beginning of time, unquote, she said, quote, and he knows that the open borders is Satan's way of taking control of the world through all of these people who are his stooges and his servants, unquote. Christ, she's sounding worse than Trump. You know, Logan then took the rant one step further by arguing that members of the World Economic Forum, quote, dined on the blood of children, unquote, a conspiracy theory that comes from the Qanon movement that has its roots in anti-Semitic tropes. Quote, and they may think that they're going to become gods. That's what they tell us. Yuval Harari and all the rest of them at the World Economic Forum, you know, the ones who want us eating insects, cockroaches, and that while they dine on the blood of children, those are the people, right, they're not going to win. They're not going to win, unquote. The comments are entirely on brand for Logan, who has championed numerous far-right conspiracy theories in recent years. As noted by Media Matters, Logan has blamed recent events on everything from Darwinism to the assassination of JFK to the Rothschild. Logan has also pushed debunked election fraud claims and asserted that the January 6th riot at the Capitol was an event manufactured by the government. So she's flipped her lid, okay, and it's a sad fall from grace from where she started, because I remember when she started on CBS News years back, and you know, you never would think to look at her that she was somebody like that, but God only knows we can't recognize the devil when we see them. So anyway, that's what she's been touting around, and the more she yaks, the worse people look at her, and you know, the less credibility she has. She's the reason her career has sunk down to the level it is. You know, she fell too far off the deep end. Charlie Crist's campaign manager just left, said he had to leave for a family matter. And wouldn't you know it, somebody from Ron DeSantis's re-election campaign noted on Twitter and said, quote, I've never seen this happen 20 days before an election. I hope he is okay, unquote. Christina Pashal, spokeswoman for Ron DeSantis, had wrote on there. Huh. Why would she say that, you know? Does she know something? You know, it's happening 20 days before an election. Somebody ups and leaves, and the most overused excuse is a family matter. You know, I'm not saying that we should doubt it. I'm just saying that, you know, in the past, people have come up with all kinds of excuses to just disappear, you know, and for some reason that we never find out about later. I mean, it could be a family matter, but, you know, politics is a blood sport, as we all know. And things can get very, very dirty in that system. So, you know, believe what you want, I guess. And we have, let's see, what is this? This is from Mediate. Voter intimidation investigation underway in Arizona after couple was allegedly filmed, followed, and accused of being a mule. Okay. This was published 2 hours ago. The Arizona Secretary of State's office referred a report of alleged voter intimidation to the Department of Justice and Arizona's Attorney General on Wednesday, reported local media. The complaint said that a man and his wife were filmed, followed, and accused of being a mule earlier in the week as they attempted to vote. Early voting began last Wednesday in the Grand Canyon state. The alleged harassment took place at the Mesa Juvenile Court drop box location, where there have been previous reports of people, quote, in the vicinity, unquote, of the drop box. The complaint read, quote, there's a group of people hanging around near the ballot drop box, filming and photographing my wife and I as we approached the drop box and accused us of being a mule, unquote. Mule refers to a term used by conspiracy theorist Dinesh D'Souza, who released an election conspiracy theory film titled, quote, 2,000 Mules, unquote. The widely debunked film alleges that Democrat operatives called mules were hired to stuff drop boxes with illegal votes during the 2020 presidential election. Quote, they took a photograph of our license plate and of us, then followed us out the parking lot in one of their cars, continuing to film, the complaint notes. Arizona has become ground zero for election denial coming out of the 2020 presidential election, which saw President Biden squeak out a very narrow victory in the state. The GOP nominees for governor, secretary of state, and attorney general all claimed the 2020 presidential election was stolen. Yeah, I heard that people were expecting that was going to happen in that state, that there was, going to be actions taken that would be like voter intimidation. There's a lot of election deniers in that state who would love to see Trump return as president. And I wish I could talk to one of these people and ask them, what have you got against this country? What have you got against America that you would want to see that man back in office? Is the only crime relevant to you murder, and that's it? Because let's consider the fact that all the other crimes that Trump has committed, you don't seem to think that matters. Basically ruining our our national secrets and stuff like that, by stealing things out of the White House and all this other crap that he did while he was there that he's being investigated on, and stuff that happened before he even became president he's being investigated on. What crime would it take for you to say he's got to answer for what he did? What would it have to be? If you think that murder is the most important thing, okay, of a crime that would require that he be punished, then I would like to ask those of you that are in Arizona who think that Trump should come back for another spat as a president. Can I ask you, would you send me your address, and would you give me permission to just go in your house and take whatever I want out of there, and just sell it, pawn it, whatever, to get the money out of it, so I can, would you be okay with that? Because obviously you don't seem to think that theft is a really important thing, since Trump stole national secrets, which are probably worth more than anything that's in your house. So I figure, what the hell, maybe you guys don't mind if I just drive over to Arizona there and I just pick up some things while you're not there and, drive home. You guys won't care, right? That's what you're saying, So, if you want to, I can just answer below, and I'll throw you my email address, and I'll send you who address where I'm coming from and all that. I'll be there. It only take me a few days to get there, but I'll be there. And whenever you come home and you open the door, or the door's already open and nothing is in there, you'll know I've been there. And I'll leave you a plate of cookies to thank you for letting me in your home and letting me take the things I really would value out of your house. So please, I really would like to do that for you. If it doesn't really matter, because it really says a lot about you as a person that you don't seem to think that anything that Trump did is really a crime, and you would love to see him come back as president to reward him for the things that he did wrong. So please, I would like your generosity. let me go to your home and let me steal stuff out of your house. I promise I'll keep the place clean. I'll take my shoes off when I come in the door so I don't get any mud. Okay, I'll be respectful to your stuff. Okay, thank you. All right, so this other article here from Mediate. This was published 4 hours ago. Says, whoa, whoa, whoa. Fox News anchor cuts off Democrat strategist who argues New York Times poll is an outlier. Fox News anchor John Roberts cut off Democratic strategist Kevin Walling for calling the New York Times Siena College poll an outlier. During Thursday's America Reports, with 19 days until the midterms, Roberts asked Walling, quote, "Red wave, are Democrats headed for higher ground to weather the storm?" Walling acknowledged that, quote, "Democrats are always the underdogs. You have the historic trends against," unquote. Then he provided a caveat, quote, "But what I look at not necessarily are these polls, and you've had some outliers in the Siena poll, New York Times poll," unquote, said Walling before being interrupted by Roberts. "Wait, whoa, 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 whoa. Full stop," unquote, said Roberts, doing the hand signal for calling for a timeout. Quote, "When is a New York Times Siena poll ever considered an outlier?" Unquote, asked Roberts. Quote, "It's fake news coming from a Democrat," unquote, joked Walling. Quote, "I look at the actual vote numbers right now, just about 5 million Americans," unquote, he continued, interrupted by Roberts, who expressed astonishment over Walling calling the poll, which showed that 49% of voters plan to cast their ballot for a Republican, while 45% intend to vote for a Democrat, an outlier. Quote, "Just about 5 million Americans have already voted, and Democrats have seen their increase in about 2%, unquote, said Walling. Quote, "Republicans are down over their early vote numbers from 2018. That shows real enthusiasm. Georgia's blowing the numbers out when it comes down to early vote down in the Peach State." Quote, "Imagine that," unquote, interjected Roberts. Quote, "That is a good thing for the Democrats," unquote, said Walling, finishing his point. The New York Times Siena poll also shows that the GOP has an 18-point advantage when it comes to independent women, compared to a 14-point lead for the Democrats in September. Polls. Here we go again with polls. Polls. You know, the funny thing about polls is that depending on what news agency you listen to, they're going to give you their own polling numbers, you know what I'm saying? And they're going to have people giving their take on those polls, okay? Trying to interpret them in the way they want to be interpreted, okay? But here's my thing. In the last, I don't know, since the 2000 election, polling data has really not been very dependable, from what I can tell. Because after the elections are done and over with, everybody takes a look at the numbers. They take a look at what they had polled, then they take a look at turnout, okay? And the gap between is so wide, it's crazy. And the polling data, in my mind, is not dependable. And the reason why is because a lot of these polling outfits still go by the method of using phone calls, okay? And I don't know about you, but today's phones, they tell you who's calling before they call. And most people today, if they get a phone call and the number isn't showing up, or it's showing up as unknown, or from a state or place you don't know anybody in, then they're not going to answer that phone. They're just going to direct you to the, you know, it's going to go to voice message or something like that. So they call what, how much, 1,000 people, I guess, if that, and they take their information from the 1,000 that did answer the phone, okay? And from that they derive that these people are going to represent the over 360 million Americans that are expected to have opinions of them for themselves. I mean, now I'm not going to say all 360 million Americans are going to vote, but I am saying is that even if this 1,000 people called and they got information from, you're still taking that 1,000 people and you're formulating an opinion or a mathematical opinion of 50 times that number of people on a bigger scale. Okay, how can that possibly represent in truth what's going on? I mean, we saw what happened in Trump's election, how he lost. Okay, when the votes started coming in, it looked like Trump was leading, and then all of a sudden, the absentee ballots and the mail-in ballots started showing up, and that pushed everything right over the side. Okay, because everybody was already counting their votes and saying, "Oh, it's going to be Trump. It's going to be Trump." They didn't wait. Okay, they didn't wait for the fucking rest of those ballots to come in. It takes longer to get those ones in. Okay, the ones they were counting were the ones that were done electronically. Okay, but that's not taking into account all the ballots that came in through the mail. And by the end of the day, when they had counted it all, there was no doubt. I mean, there's no way they could have painted that as anything but a loss for Trump. Okay, so that's why I look at these polls as being the same way. They're getting information from people who answered the phone. Now, I'm thinking that there's probably a lot of elderly people or something that will answer the phone, considering how many elderly people out there fall for these fucking phone scams. Okay, and they probably don't know how to use caller ID or something like that, or to know when somebody suspicious is calling, like a spam call or whatever. A lot of these people don't know. So I'm assuming a lot of them answered, and a lot of them are Republican. Okay, so you get information from that group of people. It's going to be tainted right off the bat. Why don't they do these polls over the internet? Okay, why don't they just, where people know what it is, they know what question's going to be asked, they see it right there. All they got to do is click. Okay, and that's it. They get their information. Why do they have to send? Why do they want to call you? I mean, is it at the fact that they want to indoctrinate you while they're asking you a question? Because sometimes I've answered the phone in the past when a Democrat people would call or something, they're like their campaign, they're running a campaign for some Democrat running for a seat, and they call and they say, "Have you registered to vote?" And I say, "Yes, I'm registered." And they say, could you say who you're going to vote for? And I say, who I was going to vote for, and then after I say yes, and then they say, "Great, because yada yada yada, this person stands for this." They go down this litany here of things that this person will do just to enshrine your position, so that way you're going to vote for this person. Okay, and I feel like if it was a Republican that called me and asked me this question, they would probably say, or probably put me on the spot and say, "Well, why?" And did you know my candidate's going to do this and that? That's what people don't like. They don't want to be indoctrinated. They just ask your fucking question and then hang it up. Okay, that's what we want. We don't want to hear your fucking candidates, point of view on things. We can see that when we watch the debates. All right, we make up our mind to that. We don't want to hear from somebody that's working on the campaign about what they think that person's going to do, because they don't know either. And when was the last time a Republican ever kept their damn promise about a fucking thing? Okay, so these people are just as blind to what's going to happen as the people they're calling. They're no better. They have no inside information on fucking jack. Okay, that's bullshit. Okay, they're just there working, making a buck, or whatever, to do something, for their party. That's it. So I say, well, why don't we just do these goddamn polling things over the internet and say that's it. That's all we got to do. Okay, and all you got to do is click the answer and bang. You don't have to hear it again. All right, they won't have to pester you on the phone. So do it on the fucking internet instead of calling people. I mean, that's what I say. And I'm surprised people don't do that today. Everything is the internet now. Christ, the doctor don't even want to see you unless it's on the internet. So anyway, let's go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Ruth McLaughlin, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me. This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
Самоубийственное желание подразнить русского медведя. Вот что говорит Трамп. Сейчас мы имеем войну между Россией и Украиной с потенциальной смертью сотен тысяч людей. Мы должны требовать незамедлительных переговоров о мирном завершении войны, или мы закончим Третью мировую войну. От нашей планеты ничего не останется, а все потому, что глупые люди понятия не имели. У них не было информации. Они не понимают этого, они действительно не понимают. Я восстановил наши вооруженные силы, я восстановил нашу ядерную энергетику. Они не понимают, что имеет дело с ядерной мощью, они понятия не имеют, что делать.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Write for Pollution Booklet, Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it. It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Alright everybody, welcome back. Alex Griffin, published today. It says, I agree conservatives say good riddance to nationalist MAGA right-wingers after the Federalist argues for dropping conservative label. John Daniel Davidson, a senior editor at the Federalist, sparked a bevy of strong reactions on Thursday with an article titled, quote, "We need to stop calling ourselves conservatives," unquote. In his lengthy article, which referenced everything from trial by combat to Roman statesman Lucius Quinticus Cincinnatus, Davidson repeatedly argues it's time for the American right to use the power of government to enforce its values, whatever he decides those may be. Quote, "The conservative project has failed, and conservatives need to forge a new political identity that reflects our revolutionary moment," unquote, blares the subtitle of the article. Taking a cue from Claremont Institute senior fellow Michael Anton's Flight 93 essay, Davidson repeatedly claims Western civilization is dying and that the right must immediately rush the cockpit and vanquish the left or all will be lost. Many on the right took issue with Davidson's argument and wished him and his ilk good riddance from the conservative movement. Columnist Matt Lewis shared the article and wrote, quote, "I agree. Nationalist MAGA right-wingers should quit using our name," unquote. Real Clear Politics political analyst Sean Trend replied, quote, +1, unquote. He added, quote, "Since there is some confusion, he is proposing they stop calling themselves conservatives. I'm good with that," unquote. Quote, "I'm convinced," unquote, replied Noah Rothman. Writer Scott Howard commented, quote, "This piece goes on and on about how the ideas that conservatives sought to conserve over the last 60 years are dead, and instead of advocating for rebuilding those ideas, he suggests we abandon them. You can abandon your conservatism, I'll keep mine," unquote. Columnist at the Boston Globe, Jeff Jacoby, replied, quote, "Yes, quite right. Conservative is definitely not the word for this hardline, intolerant, big government, anti-market, creeping authoritarianism. Please do find something else to call yourselves," unquote. Others slammed Davidson for his argument that government should be used to regulate morality as he sees fit. Bill Kristol shared the article, writing, quote, "Alternate headline, we need to start calling ourselves fascists," unquote. Others dug into the details of Davidson's argument, in which he blasted the end of traditional marriage and repeated the anti-trans talking points permeating the right at the moment. Quote, "This article calling for conservatives to unite behind fascism is so deranged that it's hard to know where to start. But the lamentation of gay marriage, paired with recognizing the quote-unquote merits of arranged marriage and trial by combat, does stand out," unquote, noted Tim Miller. So, yeah, do I think, yeah, they rename themselves because they certainly are giving some conservatives the motivation to leave the Republican Party because they don't want to be associated with these lunatic fringe people here that have taken over the party. They want a name for themselves. Well, I call them Trumplicans because that's really what started it. Really, you know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, it's always kind of been there, building over the years, but it was really Trump that opened the door and said, "Come on down, you know, just you know, say what you want to say, and I'll back you, and you know, we're going to take back the country." I mean, wasn't that kind of what this "Make America Great Again" thing was? It was more like, let's take back the country, you know, or, you know, take it over and make it the way it was back in the 1920s or something. I mean, you know, he wants to take the country all the way back, you know, when at a time when America was still buying slaves and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? When they talk about making America great again, what exactly do they think is great that, you know, we dropped? Okay, because, you know, things were going great until, you know, we started the 20th century and everything started to go asunder as we went in through the 100 years. And now we're paying for all that as we start the 21st century. We're paying for all our, our carelessness, and, we're paying for the people that have entered into our society with this anti-American rhetoric, who want to destroy the country from the inside because so many things were taken away from them, like trying to stop them from being racist and stuff. I mean, they didn't like that. They got pissed off when we put laws against that sort of thing. They got mad when, the country routes out these American, what do they call American Nazis, I guess, or something like that. And, they try to get people under cloak, I guess, basically into government. They tell you that they're, for abortion and all this stuff and that, when they're anything but, okay? And they just say all the things that they'll get them elected. And then when they get in there, all of a sudden they undo they just go against everything they promised, okay? So they start targeting America from the inside. It's sort of like it's like a civil war that's still going on. It hasn't stopped. It just took on a different form, okay? And the civil war now is being fought on the political battlefield by insurgents coming in from the right wing. Now, I know insurgents is a kind of a strong word to use, but what else can I say? I'm just saying that, these people are not who they appear to be. And, any of these motherfuckers that are sitting here telling you that they're going to fight crime and, build the economy up better and promise to do all these things, well, those days are gone, because now these people are coming out and they're telling you flat out, we don't want to help people in trouble. We want to cut into your Social Security. We want to take away stuff from your Medicaid. We want to do all this stuff, okay? They're not hiding it anymore like they used to. Before, they used to do it, they used to say things in word salad, basically, what they're trying to do, and that way it can be denied, and they can say, well, you didn't understand me, okay? But now, it's like, we're not going to do that anymore. We're just going to come right out and tell you what we're going to do. And for some reason or other, that seemed to work better for them than the way they were doing it before. Because I think what happened is, the people on the right that they've attracted to this new right wing here are people who are the dregs of society, the ones that we don't want to live next door to, okay? They're the people that when they're doing things or something, or you see them with their trucks and their friggin' bullshit flags and their goddamn bumper stickers and all, those are people that you just, you shake your head at and say, well, I ain't talking to them, But now these people are everywhere, okay? They've been emboldened. I mean, I've never seen so much anti-American shit while I'm driving on the road these days, and than now, okay? I mean, I've seen the vehicles with bumper stickers that aren't very nice, okay? I don't even know why they're allowed to put that on their bumper, but I guess if it's your car, you can do what you want with it. But I suppose if I put a picture of a giant dick on the side of my car, somebody would say something. Okay, but here's the thing. Right now, the atmosphere in our society, because of politics and dirty politics, not just honest politics, but dirty politics, that's all changed us now, okay? It's the Civil War is coming out of the egg, as it were, okay? It's coming out. We're starting to see that there is a undercurrent of a war happening in our politics, and Biden is trying to explain that to us, okay? He's trying to warn us about, how if we side with the right wing right now, as it is, it's a party on fire right now, okay? It's trying to rediscover itself because it's ruined. Trump ruined it. And the people that are in it right now are trying to rebuild it into this nasty, fascist, all it's missing is a swastika, for a label instead of the elephant. They're turning into this thing. And it's all based in anger and emotion that's been fed by being victims, saying they're victimized by the American culture and stuff, and they're making it seem like living in America is like living in a prison for them, and it's anything but. Okay, it's not that way, but they make it that way on themselves. They put this on themselves all right, this reality. Nobody's forcing these people to do a damn thing they don't want to do. Nobody's coming to get their guns. As much as we would like to, as much as I would like the government to go in there and snatch their fucking guns, okay, it ain't happening. The Democrats will say, yeah, the Second Amendment, we don't agree with the way you interpret it, but if you want to interpret it that gives you the right to keep your gun, that's your opinion, okay? But we're not going to take away your property. You bought it, all right? And so, you know, we're just saying we want to just make sure that there's regulation on it. Like when you drive a car, there's regulation on that so that way you drive safely, okay? I mean, it doesn't always work. I mean, you still have accidents every day in this country, okay? It's going to happen. But they're unintentional accidents for the most part. I mean, you don't hear much about people deliberately killing each other with a car on the road because the car isn't made for that. People need it for transportation. So, when it comes to the guns, though, when something happens and people die and involved a gun, well, that gun was actually used to kill somebody, okay? It's not used to do anything else. You can't mop your floor with a gun. You can't build a roof on your house with a gun. You can't use it for, eating food on your plate with a gun. So what's it for? Only one thing, folks. So, like I said, it's these people are building a world inside the bubble they live in that is oppressive, and they're doing it to themselves. These people are oppressing themselves, and they believe that because they're given, how can I say it? They're told by the the world in the bubble, which is the Fox News. We got to admit, Fox News exists in these people's bubbles because I won't watch it. I know it's bullshit. But they watch it because it fits inside their narrative. They watch it. It feeds them all the stuff they already believe. They keep reaffirming that to them day after day after day. Okay? So when they get that from the television, they automatically put credence on it. Okay? Because it's on TV. Okay? How many times have people said, oh, I saw this on TV. It must be true. Okay? Well, they don't tell you everything on TV. Okay? If you weren't there when something happened, you don't really know all the whole story, okay? But the thing is people today take what they see on TV and they run wild with it, okay? And we're all guilty of it, okay? If we didn't do that, we wouldn't enjoy movies we watch because it would always be in our mind that, oh, it's all fake. Why am I here sitting here watching this shit? Okay? All right? We like to be entertained. And if there's anything about Fox News that, keeps people tuning into it is that it's entertaining. All right, that's what draws, I think, a lot of the attention. It feeds you what you already believe in, okay, and it does so in a nice, pretty picture, okay? And so these people tune and watch it because it's entertainment. It's not news, it's entertainment. And so that's why I say that right now, the right wing, the way it is now, it can't be conservative because they're not conservative. In fact, the ideas that they have in mind are going to cost us big. Going to cost us big because, for one thing, by shrinking the government down to the size of a pea, all right, like they say they want to do, that only means big business is going to have to pick up where government leaves off. And what do you think is going to happen to us when we have to pay big business for the things that we enjoy now that the government's doing for us? You think it's expensive now living in this country? Okay. How do you know that they're not going to play fair, okay? Especially if they're all involved in Wall Street. It's going to be about stockholders getting their fucking money. Who's going to, getting richer and richer and obscenely rich, okay? That's what it's going to be all about. At the same time, the rest of us are going to be living poorer and poorer and poorer and poorer. Soon we're all going to be living, we won't have cars. We'll probably be living in tents if we can afford to buy one. Out on the streets, and homelessness will become something that they'll beat us back into corrals if they, so that way the elite won't have to look at us, all right? And believe me, the number of homelessness is going to skyrocket while the number of people who can afford to live in this country shrinks down to just, a certain bunch of families, okay? And what do you think, what kind of picture do you think that looks like? Reminds you of the Dark Ages, right? Where the kings and all the queens and you got all the peasants. There's no middle ground. There's no middle class. Okay, you were either You were either in the monarchy or whatever you call it, the royal, or you were just a peasant living in a hut. That's what they want to turn us back into. So, hello, this is the people that left England because they didn't like the way things were over there. Why don't you take your fucking shit and get the hell back over there if that's what you like? Get the hell out of this country. Jesus. Okay, well, here's a story here of a Karen at Taco Bell. I think you'll find this kind of amusing. This is from the Daily Dot, written by Heather Stewart, published today, and it says, it's entitled, "You're Pathetic. Taco Bell Karens place a $200 order and then gets mad about the cost." Taco Bell customer Austin DeLeon posted a TikTok exposing a pair of so-called Karens for insulting an employee behind the counter over the cost of the food after placing a $200 order. Leon and other customers rallied in defense of the employee. The TikTok, which Leon posted 4 days ago, has over 150,000 views. Leon said in the follow-up video that the two women in the video came in to pay for their food after ordering on the app. They were complaining about the price, so he started recording. Quote, "I feel sorry for your parents," unquote, one of the women said to the employee at the beginning of the video. Quote, "They need to do a better job," unquote. Quote, "I feel sorry for you guys," the employees said sarcastically as he takes the to-go boxes off the counter. Quote, "Don't even take the food," unquote. One of the women starts screaming at the employee. Quote, "We just paid for that goddamn food," unquote, she says. Quote, "Put it down," unquote. Then the other customers in the restaurant make their way into the conversation. Quote, "Hey ma'am, please quit yelling," unquote, Leon says. Quote, "I'm trying to enjoy my food," unquote. The Taco Bell employees sees that he's filming and explains the situation. Quote, $200 worth of food and they get mad at us for the price, unquote, he says to the camera. Quote, "You're pathetic," unquote, another customer says to the woman. Quote, "My daddy owns this corporation, I swear to God," unquote, another customer jokes. The women are clearly distraught as they look back at the group of customers. Business Insider reported that Taco Bell inflated its prices more than any other fast food chain between the summer of 2020 and 2021. The employees are not responsible for the cost of items, but as the middlemen between corporate and customer, they are often the first to get the complaints. The Taco Bell customers in the TikTok weren't going to let the women get away with making rude comments and yelling. Commenters commended them for coming together in support of the Taco Bell employee. Quote, "New generations sticking up to Karens, love it," unquote, one person commented. Quote, "I love Generation Z," unquote, another person wrote. Taco Bell did not immediately respond to the Daily Dot's request for comment. Let me see here. There's the video, I think, or at least some of it must be here. So let me see if I can't get that.
Hey man, please quit yelling. I'm trying to enjoy food. What's your name, man? Don't worry about it. They ordered Gary Whitthorpe and $20 worth of food and get mad at us. I'm not my daddy. My daddy owns this corporation, I swear to God. Tell me to shut up.
It's showing that, you know, people are, you know, today are really, you know, when you get charged $200 at a fast food joint for food you order, you wonder what made you think it wasn't going to be over $100 to begin with. How much food did you buy, you know? And if you're buying that much food, then obviously you're buying for more than just one or two people. So, and you know, if everybody's chipping in to give you enough money to buy this food, then you probably already know that it's going to run you, you know, quite a bit. So I'm not sure why these women started this argument, unless they were just, you know, in the mood to fight with people. But you know, it's not the first time, you know, you get a story like this about customers going to these McDonald's and Burger Kings and stuff like that and getting into fights with the employees. And people are right. The employees are only there to do what they're supposed to do, okay? They don't run the prices of things that are there. If they're told that a box of fries is going to cost you $5, okay, then that's what they got to mark down, okay? They cannot charge you less because they feel that you shouldn't have to pay it. If they did that, they'd be fired, okay? And the person that runs that particular restaurant would probably lose their license, their franchise to have that thing there. So how you deal with it is you just don't eat there, okay? And when nobody's eating there because of the price, then guess what happens, okay? Your message gets across a whole lot better that way, okay? So, you know, I find it really stupid that some people don't, you know, ding, 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 think before they open their yap, okay? Stop going through the drive-thrus and then getting into fights with the people at the window, okay? They don't need to hear that. They're understaffed as it is, and there's probably a line of cars behind you that they got to get through. And if you're holding up the line, everybody behind you wants to bite your fucking head off, okay? So it's better just shut your mouth, go through the line. Then if you want to go in and argue, go in the parking lot, park your car, then go inside and talk about what the hell your issue is. In the meantime, keep the lines going. That's more important, okay? That happens so much when, like if I go eat at KFC or I go eat at Burger King or something like that, usually, and it happens maybe 4 times out of 10, I'm going to have somebody in front of me that's going to have a problem. And you'll see them kind of arguing with the guy at the window. And it just, just stop it. Just fucking stop it. It's just, these people cannot control the goddamn, the price of things. They can't, They got the menu right there before you come to the window. What it is and what it's going to cost. If you can't add that up in your mind as you're checking these things off, okay, then maybe you shouldn't shop that way. Maybe you shouldn't go to these drive-through windows. Maybe you should just, learn about how money totals up with taxes and stuff like that. But for $200, these people had to know they bought a lot of food, okay? They bought a lot of food, and there's no reason in the world why they thought they could have walked out of there and paid less. So yes, that's definitely a Karen. And, we got too many of these Karens around in this country, if you ask me. And it makes me wonder, is it Karens that really kind of, I don't know, support people that are like Trump? Is that kind of what it is? Is it the women that are in the Trumplican party? Are they the Karens? Because I honestly can't see how, liberal women would act that way, okay? Because usually they're the ones that'll stand up for the poor employee that gets harassed, all right? But it would be a conservative that would fucking do it, that would go in there and just act like an idiot, because for one thing, they seem to fight without thought and without much intelligence to their argument, because everybody around them looks at you and say, "Are you drunk?" Why are you fighting about this? Listen to yourself. You're not making any sense. So, I have to say that, maybe, we have a problem in America that's almost as bad as the gun problem, and that's stupidity, right-wing stupidity that's out there trying to live in a country that doesn't go their way, that really doesn't follow their philosophy, okay? And they want it to be stupid, and they want it to be, discriminating. I don't know. The way they envision America is an America that they would soon wish they never had, as if it ever came to be. These would be the first people to cry and moan and bitch and complain when they got what they wanted. The very first people. I can promise you that. So the kind of America they want, I'll tell you folks, if they're going to hate it, we're going to hate it more. All right, so that's it for today, and I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. So please subscribe, comment. I'd like to hear from you. Keep your ears open for COVID-19 news and monkeypox news in your local area. And please treat each other well, and don't get into any more fights, and don't don't get baited by Karens to get into an argument. Just smile and say, you know, have a nice day. Okay, because that's basically all they're going to understand anyway. Trying to prove a point it's just going to go right over their head. So I'll talk to you later. Take care, everybody.